Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by the less good-looking half of SJAM Boxing, Sam Jones. Sam, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. You're in the middle of a great period for your career. I mean, you had Joe Joyce upset the odds in the biggest British fight of the year just last week. And now this week, you've got Florian Marku making his Matchroom debut on a Sky pay-per-view with Anthony Joshua at the top. Has there
Yeah,
been a
yeah,
better week in your boxing life?
yeah. It's just busy, Dan. Honestly, I've not had. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, are you on cloud nine?" Like, I've not really had time to sit down and like reflect on what's really happened. If I'm really honest, but like, yeah, look, it's great, but like, I've always been confident it would kind of come to this. Like I've never. I don't believe it or not. I don't just talk for the sake of talking. So like, I'm confident in what comes out of my mouth. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've sometimes blurted out nonsense, but I do believe in what I say. So like, I was never. I told you, didn't I, Dan? Like, I told you, like, off camera. I said I told you what was going to happen against Dubois. Like, I wasn't like just saying it for the camera to get views and stuff. I was fucking confident that he was going to win. So yeah, obviously professionally for because it's SJAM Boxing. Like, it isn't just me that, like, I know, like, I might come across like I'm the face of it and everything, but I've got a really our team is unbelievable. Like, we've got a really good team, and we all deserve this. You know what I mean? We've all worked really hard, so like we're but yeah, we're grateful for, because we're getting lots of credit and like, but yeah, it's great, mate. We've had a great week, and hopefully, like, over the Christmas period, I can kind of reflect and be happy about what's happened and everything. But like, I've still got a job to do. Like, as soon as Joe won, I've still not responded to some of the people. Like, so many messages. I'm so grateful, like, for the messages I've had. But I've had Florian Market ringing me, bro, when do we fight, bro? Like, I'm like, oh my god, like, this guy's like, he drives
Best Florian
me
Marku
men.
impression ever.
Bro. He's just all of that.
Is he
He drives
Scottish?
me.
What?
He drives me absolutely mental, Florian. But yeah, it just brings me that. I had Lerone on the week after, so like, it's just been crazy, to be honest. But yeah, we're really but yeah, I'm really grateful for like all the what's the word? The compliments that's coming our way, which is very nice.
You were supremely confident all the way along that Joe would get the job done. When you
Yeah.
found out that Ismael Salas had failed his COVID-19 test and would be unable to be in the corner on fight night, were there any
Yeah.
wobbles then, any doubts?
Nah, honestly, no, promise, not one. Because Steve has done the whole camp. Salas trained Joe only for 3 weeks in this camp. So we just, yes, obviously we were like, oh yeah, we need him in the corner, but the game plan's there. Joe's 35 years old. If you can't execute the game plan, then what the hell are we doing? Do you know what I mean? We have to, Joe's not a young 21-year-old where he's going to be like, oh, my life, I need my, like, for example, if Martin Bowers would have failed the test, I don't believe Daniel would have boxed that night. And that's fair enough, because Daniel's only a baby, isn't he? So like, it would have been fair enough. But we were like, we're not throwing this way. We were all fine. Joe was laughing and joking. Like, all week everybody was confident. Like, if you looked at, no disrespect to Daniel's team, because as I say, I've got huge respect for Martin Bowers. As I say, he probably forgot more about boxing than I know. But they all looked. If you were in the hotel with us and you looked at who was the most confident out of the two sides, it was night and day. It really was. It was night and day. So, but that comes with experience. That's what I kept telling people. Joe's been in the ring with Yoka, Hergovich, like, it's nothing new to him. Do you know what I mean? He's felt big punches with 10-ounce gloves. Stiverne, if you watch back, I was like cringed when Joe boxed Stiverne, because Joe was near on 20 stone when he fought that night. But if you watch the fight back, Stiverne, who is not a small puncher, he's a big puncher, hit Joe. I've never seen a cleaner punch in my life. Like, it literally, you couldn't have hit the target any more sweeter than it hit Joe. It literally hit him from there. I don't know whether you were there when the fight was there, Dan, but like
I watched it on TV. I wasn't.
I saw it because I heard it. I was next to the ring, so I was like, oh my Lord. But so like, Joe's experience, he got hurt against Jennings. Joe's battle hardened. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we were just, listen, I could talk all day, like, but we were confident Joe was going to get the job done. The game plan was to take his jab away, beat him to the jab, tick, and then to stop him in the last 3 rounds. That was the plan.
And Joe's indicated that going forward, he still wants to train out in Vegas with Salas. I don't know if it's more Salas that appeals or Vegas that appeals. Probably a combination of the two.
It's not just that, Dan. Joe does genuinely train better away from home because, and I believe a lot. Some people like to have home comforts. Joe doesn't. He likes to train away where he can just focus on the job. And Las Vegas, because Joe trained his debut there. For his debut, he's done many camps in America, and we've got like we know a lot of people there. We've got a lot of good contacts there, and Joe's just very, very comfortable there. So that's where he likes to train, and that's where he will train for his next fight, God willing. The pandemic calms down and we can travel, because that was more the problem we had. Like, not even as much as getting Salas over, it was just the fact that Joe likes to train away. But listen, we were very grateful to Greg Stallard who let us use his gym for months and months on end. So yeah, we were very, very lucky to have that gym, because Joe had his private time in that in the gym, which we're very, very lucky to have.
We'll talk about how the fight ended in a minute, but the fact that so much attention has been taken up on that subject, were you bothered by that it's taken some of the attention away from Joe's victory?
Danny, he was getting no attention before the fight. After it's just the fact that there's been so much money pumped in to Daniel Dubois. The sole focus was, oh my God, what happened to Daniel Dubois? It wasn't that Joe's won. Like, honestly, when I say this, I mean this whole promise to God. If Daniel Dubois would have beaten Joe, I would have been absolutely astounded, because I've seen Joe. I've seen him. I don't just make my opinion of Joe just because I've got Joe Joyce beer goggles on. I'm not stupid. I know what causes Joe problems, and like in a boxing ring, and I know what doesn't cause him problems. And I know I know some people had Dubois up on the cards, which I do find weird. I think Joe was controlling the fight. Dubois was exhausted after 3 rounds. And it's not disrespect to Daniel, because I keep saying he's only a kid. Daniel Dubois, I told their team this. I told Martin after this, he could go on to have a bigger career than Joe, because he's only 23. He's only a baby. Joe's got a few good years in the sport left. Because I say, if he was boxing till he was 40, his mum would kill me. So that's just not going to happen. So he's got plenty of time. But Joe's at the peak of his powers at the moment. That's why I told you this before the fight. I told everybody that would listen with a pair of ears that Joe won't lose this fight. And that's why I was, as I say, we were just supremely confident. I knew who Dubois was sparring before the fight, and to be honest, he was sparring my heavyweight, Sol Dakers, which I found like it was a bit strange that they kind of allowed that to happen. Because of course I'm going to ask. Sol wasn't really saying, "Oh, this is what you should do," because we kind of said Dubois boxes one way. People think Joe boxes one way, but he did show some versatility in his for his ability. But they flew over Jeremiah Milton, and we know Jeremiah very, very well. Like, Joe sparred him in the camp. I know I know his manager very well, Mike Leonardi. Really good people. But Jeremiah is a boxer. He's a very steady boxer on the back foot. He's more of a slick kind of boxer. Basically, the opposite to Joe Joyce. So as soon as I started seeing the flying sparring partners paying him good money coming in from there that don't replicate Joe Joyce, even in the slightest, because you're never going to replicate anybody who your opponent is.
Particularly unique style for a heavyweight, though, as well.
Yeah, 100%. And as soon as I saw that, we thought genuinely, this is gospel. Like, this is no disrespect, because I have so much like respect for the Peacock Jim Martin, but we had them beat before the fight, Danny. Honestly, we believe we had them beat before the fight. We beat them out the ring and in the ring. That's what I honestly believe. But as I told you before this, I told Frank this. I'm a fan of Daniel Dubois. I like his style. Every time I've been to watch Daniel Dubois fight, I've been entertained. I've been royally entertained. I think flipping heck, he's a kid. He's knocking these people out. Yes, they're not the best of opponents, but he had a great performance against Gorman. I know Gorman had his circumstances, but a great performance nonetheless. Like, I'm a fan of Daniel Dubois. I want him to come back, and I want him to prove everybody wrong. Like this persona that I know the people have got this tag now that he quit, which, as I say, I'm sure you'll get to that in a point, but he can come back and have a really great career, because people don't realize he's 23. It's a kid.
And I will get to that right now. So
yeah,
a lot of people criticised him, called him a quitter, particularly ex-fighters, because I don't think even Daniel Dubois is probably not overly fussed what the average man on the street thinks about how the fight ended, but it may have hurt his feelings somewhat that a lot of ex-fighters seem to criticise his actions. What did you make of it, and were you in any way surprised that it ended the way it did?
From where I was sitting in the gods in the balcony, I thought Joe hit him with a body shot.
Right.
And he went down. I was like thinking, Joe must have hit him with something substantial, but the backlash he's getting is unfair. But he did quit, but rightfully so. Like as I say, like what is somebody meant to do? I say they're gladiators. They're going in there for our entertainment. But is he meant to go blind for our entertainment? Of course not. He made the right decision. But the word quit is harsh. But he did, but for the right reasons. Like the best words to say is like he chose to. That's enough. That's enough. I'm not having. He's 23. He can live to fight another day, and he's the best thing. The best news about everything. His eyes gonna make. He's gonna make 100% recovery, and that's the most important thing. Point blank, that 23-year-old man is going to make a full recovery, and he can resume his career when his eyes better, and that's all that matters.
And what now for Joe Joyce? We know he called out Usyk in the post-fight interview. Presumably he will take Daniel's spot as number 2 of the WBO. We'll wait for that to be confirmed, but it's logical that he would. Is that next up for him, do you think, or will there be fights in between?
Danny, if that fight presents itself, we're taking it. There's no interim fights. We're taking it. Joe's ready to go now. Like he wants to fight Usyk. Joe wants to fight in April. We spoke to Frank, and Frank's all on board. Frank's going to try and get him the fight. We've got, as I say, with S-Jam, Frank, we've got a great team. Hopefully we can make it happen. And look, if not, Joe will still fight in April in a big fight.
A lot's been said about Frank favouring Dubois in the build-up to the fight, having worked with him since the start of his professional career. And even after the fight, there was some criticism of him not being as happy as people would have liked to have seen him after the result. Understandably, I think, but still. Have you got faith that him and the promotional team as a whole will now get behind Joe in the same way they would have got behind Daniel?
100%. But like, you've got to understand this, Danny, right? It's like me. You went to the shops and you bought a nice Hugo Boss suit, yeah? You can't wait to put it on. And you've gone out on the first night out, the first big night out, and it's ripped. Right. The arm thing's just ripped completely, and you've invested all that money into this damn suit, and it's ripped. That's what's happened. Frank's just a human being, isn't he? I don't begrudge Frank one slight bit at all. I don't begrudge him one bit, because he's invested all that money in his man, and ultimately he got beat. He got beat, and that's I've got no problem with that. He's had Dubois since he turned pro. So, of course, he's going to want him to win. I have no problem. I want to don't have a go at Frank because of that. That's just Frank being. I would rather him be like that than be fake. Than pretend he wanted Joe to win, because of course he didn't. But now it's all, the dust is kind of settled, and he realizes he has Joe Joyce. Let's move and you rebuild Daniel. It is what it is. It's boxing, isn't it? It's two big men having a fight with small gloves on. Anything could have happened. I think Frank was obviously so adamant in his head that Dubois was gonna beat Joe, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Same thing with Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard. The same things kind of happened there, like where, as I say, Lyndon was an even bigger outsider than Joe on the bookies. I think he was 8-1 to win on points, which again I found ridiculous. Yard, in my opinion, can be a world champion. Definitely, he really can. He's got all the skills. He's really likable. He's a great guy, Anthony. From the times I've met him, great guy. But I thought he fought the wrong fight completely against Arthur. I thought Lyndon Arthur controlled the fight. Yes, Yard, and similar to the Joe kind of fight situation where Dubois landed some good shots on Joe, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. There wasn't enough. Lyndon just controlled the fight beautifully, and I thought, what a performance from Lyndon, by the way. Even though that's kind of moving off the subject, but it's a similar kind of thing. Like, I don't understand how these bookies can have, like, they basically called Lyndon a journeyman. They're giving him journeyman odds. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I watched Lyndon Arthur box Thomas Whittaker Hart, even though I think Whittaker Hart won that day. I think it was in Sheffield or Liverpool, one of the two. He's got pedigree, Lyndon. He's been on the GB squad. Like, you can't. He's got way more pedigree than Yard. It's mental. Some of the things Joe and Joe's boxed all around the world as an amateur. I don't understand where they get these, but again, that's just down to obviously good promotion from Frank and BT on their guys. But hopefully now Joe and Lyndon will get their time in the sun now, because it's well deserved.